Hello and welcome back to Life.EV. This is the 48th episode, a podcast that dives into exploring values. I'm your host, Ajit Panicker. I lead an air conditioning company, Nova, and Pureblu, a tech startup in the air conditioning domain. Every Saturday at 11 a.m., now for 49 weeks, we have brought you conversations that go beyond business growth, focusing on values that fuel it. So, welcome to Life.EV, where we explore values in life and business. And as usual, I have Vivek Asrani with me. Hi, Vivek.
Hey Ajit, next week we're going to be hitting a half century, is it?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
We, yeah, we're coming towards the end of a season one. That's where it is going.
52,
Well,
52 episodes in season one. Yep.
that's right. To some of you who are actually listening to us for the first time, Vivek Asrani is the driving force behind Came Up Faster Company, a trailblazing company in the industrial fastener sector. What sets Vivek apart is his deep engagement with the exploration of values. Now, for close to 4 years, he has dedicatedly penned his reflections on this topic every week. These insightful thoughts are accessible on his website, vivekasrani.com. Additionally, Vivek has authored the book One Day at a Time Reflections from Times of Silence, which further delves into his journey and insights. This thought provoking read is available on Amazon and also on his website, offering readers a chance to engage with his profound understanding of values and their role in both personal and professional lives. In today's episode of Life.EV, we're going to discuss on a reflection called Being Ambitious. Vivek, let's hear your reflection on this one.
So Ajit, ambition is really that drive which comes from within, which propels us to do anything. I think we've realized one thing in life, that the mind cannot work in a vacuum. The mind needs a direction, but not only a direction, it also needs a drive. Just knowing where I want to go, but living with a lethargy, with inertia, or with fear, which doesn't allow me to move, will not help me achieve my goal. So, one is I need the direction. Second, I need the drive. But third, I also need the stamina and the determination to stay on my path. Because I may have the direction, I may have the initial drive, I start in good faith and with a lot of enthusiasm. And then over a period of time, when the going gets a little tough and there are unforeseen challenges that come my way, I may, stop doing what I'm doing. And suddenly I find that a lot of well intentioned, well begun initiatives, but all half done. And my life is just a string of these half done things. So I need the direction, I need the drive, and I need the determination. So ambition is a combination of all of this. That this is what I want to achieve, this is how I'm going to do it, and come what may, I will achieve. So once we understand that, at least it makes us reflect on what am I ambitious about, what is driving me, and that's an extremely critical aspect of our life. Now, what happens is that on one hand, when we achieve what we want, we feel good, but then the slightest disturbance of losing it completely disturbs us. So, when we want to achieve, we are ambitious. Having achieved something, we are fearful because now we don't want to lose it. And this is where we start getting confused in life. That am I therefore better off having less, being content, rather than dealing with this fear that should, now that I've achieved this, I don't want to lose it. And I think this confusion is something we need to grapple with. That ambition is good, obsession is not. Ambition is necessary, but we will never always get a fixed result. And having achieved what we're ambitious about, we can never sit back and assume that now it is ours for life, because life is ever changing. Everything in life is transient. When we marry our ambition and temper it with this knowledge, then The fun and excitement is in being ambitious about the next thing that we want to achieve, knowing very well that even after achieving it, we may slip back or things may not go the way we want. Doesn't matter. My ambition, my drive, my determination and direction is never going to fail. So, really, ambition is a combination of our drive, direction, and determination.
I read that reflection, and in there you very clearly mentioned, ambition becomes a quest for purpose. Uh, I think you should throw a little more light on what you've written on that one. When it becomes a quest for purpose.
So, ambition is, the starting point for us to do something. But if we lose sight of why we are doing it, the higher purpose for which we are ambitious, then very often we get caught up in our own ambition. And I've, in my reflection, Ajit, given the example of a rocket and a satellite. That the rocket requires all that initial energy, the direction, the determination, the drive, and the power to lift off, and it carries the satellite with it. But at some point, the satellite has to decouple from the rocket and has to enter its own orbit. If it gets too attached to the rocket, it has taken off well, it has reached a great height, but it will not then be able to circle in its orbit of purpose because it has got attached to the rocket which lifted it. So if I get too ambitious, so for example, if I'm highly ambitious about my business and I want to drive it to the next level, but my higher purpose of driving this business is creating an impact in the lives of people, is making sure that there is impact and value created for all the stakeholders. But if I lose sight of that higher objective and in my growth, I start enjoying what comes with it so much that I lose sight of that, beyond the point I'll get stuck because I'm not decoupling this satellite to move to the next orbit. So that's what I have, given an analogy to. And I would like to read one paragraph, Ajit, from that reflection of the relationship between ambition and purpose. I've written that ambition wants, purposefulness gives. Ambition competes, purposeful creates value. Ambition can blind us if we're not careful. Being purposeful gives us a vision. Ambition is powerful in launching us. Purposefulness sustains us. Ambition measures the height of our success. Purposeful measures the depth of our impact. I mean, it's such a beautiful interplay of ambition and purpose. You cannot achieve your purpose without being ambitious. And there's no point being ambitious if you don't have a higher purpose.
I mean, that analogy is fabulous. It kind of gives a perspective to the whole concept per se. But you also spoke about obsession. So here comes the next, question that we keep asking is, what differentiates healthy ambition and unhealthy obsession? How do you maintain a balance between the two? Because these are two human traits. How do you maintain a balance between healthy ambition and unhealthy obsession?
I think that's a great question, Ajit. And, if I may respond to that, not just in the context of unhealthy obsession, but unhealthy probably anything. What's the measure? Uh, to simplify it in our minds, if at any point I find myself living and or acting with fear, anger, attachment, then it is an unhealthy state of being, to put it very simply. Whether it be with my work, whether it be with my ambition, whether it be with my family, whether it be with society, if I'm living with these emotions of fear, anger, attachment. So the moment anything makes me fearful, it has now become an obsession because I am so consumed and I'm so frightful that if I lose it, I am going to be completely disoriented. Okay, that's unhealthy. That's an unhealthy obsession. Something that I'm so attached to that without it, I lose my sense of balance. is again an unhealthy obsession, that I'm not willing to let go of something, right? Uh, Same with anger, that the moment I find that I'm losing my temper and I'm getting short with people at the slightest provocation, at the smallest of things, means I have just lost healthy perspective and I've got so obsessed with what I'm doing that the slightest disturbance externally is creating a huge disturbance internally. So, that to my mind, Ajit, is recognizing unhealthy obsession. What is healthy ambition? Healthy ambition, to my mind, is the corollary of that. When I find myself in a joyous mood doing something, means the energy is flowing from within in a positive way. The color of my energy, A, is not directed towards myself. I'm not being egoistic, but it is directed from me. So I'm not working for joy, I'm working with joy. Second is when my interactions with people is extremely loving and caring, even in a business context, even in the most difficult circumstances, means I am ambitious to achieve my goal, but I'm doing this in a healthy manner where I'm taking care of the people and their feelings along the way. Now, it doesn't mean that I get overly sentimental and compromise my goals, but that's a healthy ambition. When I find that I wake up in the morning looking forward to the day, it is a healthy ambition because it is driving me, propelling me. There's a spring in my step, and I am happily going to my place of work. And it's not like, oh gosh, now I have to deal with this. I'll give you an example which comes to mind. I was once going to a friend of mine once asked me, she said, "Where are you off to?" I was in a meeting and I said, "Oh, I have to, by the way, go to the income tax office." She said, "Oh God." I said, "No, I'm looking forward to it." She said, "Really?" I said, "I've never been to the income tax office ever. This is the first time I'm actually going to go and meet an officer. I am actually very excited." Now, I was anyway highly ambitious about my business to run a good business and run it well. I had this opportunity, and like a child, I was experimenting something new. So that enthusiasm was the healthy part of my ambition, even in a difficult situation. And because of that, by the way, the outcome with that officer was a very favorable outcome to us because of the way I handled it. But if I had gone with fear, anger, or any sense of attachment, I would not have been able to present myself the way I did on that particular day. So when I find myself working with love, joy, and a spirit of service, it's healthy ambition. When I find myself angry, attached, and fearful, it is unhealthy obsession.
Awesome. What do you think? Entrepreneurs need to be ambitious or they don't need to be ambitious? What about your
Absolutely.
take on it?
No, no, absolutely. There's no question about it. It is like asking that should the astronaut be in a rocket? An astronaut can be the best astronaut in the world, but he can't be sitting in NASA and dreaming about reaching the moon. He has to get into the rocket. He has to, or she has to take off, okay, get propelled to the orbit and actually go discover and break new frontiers and break all the old barriers. And that can only come when the rocket propels you. We can only move to the next level when we are ambitious to create something. But the question is, are we creating it with a sense of love, care, vision, or is it egoistic? That I'm creating it for myself and I will destroy everything that comes in the way. Okay. Very often in business, we hear the words buy them or bury them. I mean,
Mm.
I don't believe that that's the right attitude. No one is saying don't win the game, but to have this negative attitude that I'm going to bury competition, you know, they also have families to take care of. They also have workers working with them. They also are working hard. You do a better job and let the customer prefer you by all means. Win the game, be the biggest and the best. But why work with that negative attitude when you've been gifted this fantastic positivity within? you know and Ajit, innovation and creativity is one of the signs of healthy ambition. When we work with negative obsession, we're constantly other oriented. How do I bring my competition down? But when we work with healthy ambition, we're constantly thinking and creating something new, novel, exciting for the customer. That how can I raise the bar in my industry and even within my own company so that we become the preferred brand and the preferred company. So I think every entrepreneur has to have ambition because that is what's going to give you the direction, the drive, and the determination. But having said that, it's not just the direction of the thought, but it's also the quality of the energy. Is it positive energy flowing out with a sense of service, innovation, creativity, and love? Or is it an egoistic negative energy which is going out with fear, anger, and attachment?
Sometimes for entrepreneurs, they also get like kind of overly ambitious. What's your take? I mean, I've had people who said, sometimes overly ambitious can actually work against you. It's negative impact, not just on a work-life balance, but on a personal relationships. And life's incomplete if it's only work and not personal. So,
Yeah.
what's your take on that?
See, again, ambition is an emotion, and it's very important for us to give ourselves a perspective. And I think what you've touched upon is really important. It's very easy to get ambitious, even in a good way, but to lose perspective and a sense of balance as far as our personal life goes when it comes to our health, our personal time, and our families. And in my mind, also the commitment to society in whatever big or small way we would like to, but it should be there as a small element in our life. So when people don't take a step back periodically to review, reflect that, okay, I am ambitious, I'm doing the right things, I'm doing it in the right way, but am I missing out something else in between? And am I losing sight of something? If we don't check in with ourselves, some people do it every day, some people do it every week, some people might do it every month. But if we don't do it, then life forces us to do it when things happen to us in a most unfortunate manner, where we are forced to take stock of the situation, right? Relationship breakdown, health breakdown. Second is, yeah, see, ambition, again, like I said, is an emotion. We can get carried away. And I'll be honest with you, Ajit, I have also stretched myself very often beyond my comfort and beyond what logically at that point of time I should have. In spite of some of my closest friends who advised me, saying, "Okay, listen, are you sure you know what you're doing?" Partly it was ambition, partly it was intuition. I wasn't able to really distill the two, but I did, and I'm being honest about this. So if you're not careful, we can get carried away. The one thing which I have learned is we shouldn't get carried away because somebody else is doing something and I'm constantly benchmarking and comparing myself with others. The moment I start living my life by your standards or look at your success and say, oh gosh, Ajit is doing this, now I need to therefore do this. But that is Ajit's game and he's playing it to his strength. That may not be my strength. He may have certain resources, certain things in place which I may not have. I cannot just look at it from the outside and try and ape somebody else. I may not know the full story. So I think ambition not only needs to be tempered with the quality of the ambition, but it's also the balance in our life. And that again is an individual choice. I mean, I can't be judgmental about anybody else, but I think living a healthy, balanced life with healthy relationships is equally important because at the end of the day, if I compromise my health and relationships at the altar of ambition, then one has to take a step back and say that, was it really worth it?
Amazing. Too good, yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for today. And that was a thought-provoking discussion. Yeah. That's some really deep insights. And get hold of that book. You must read this. It's on page number 170. It's a lovely read. 2 pages, fantastic read. Well, for all of you who actually follow us on our podcast, I encourage you not to keep these ideas to yourself. Share this episode with your friends, colleagues, and family, and ask them, "What do you think?" Spark a conversation and see where it leads. And we love to hear from you. Join us in a dialogue on our social media platforms. Share your learnings, your questions, insights. Is these through shared learnings is how we all create value out of everything that we do. And your voice matters. Well, that's it for today. Join us next week again for another enriching episode of Life.EV, where we continue our exploration into the fascinating world of exploring values in our life. Vivek, thank you very much. That's 49 weeks done. And we've got 3 more weeks to go before we conclude our year-long episode. Thank you
Thanks,
very
Ajit.
much, Vivek.
Bye.
See you
See
next
you.
week on Saturday at 11 a.m.